I'm gonna show you guys some unconventional tools that I use to make hula hoops. Number one is this pipe scorer. So pretty much what you do is before you cut your tubing, you use this around the tube so that it makes an indentation around the tubing. So it gives you a clear guide of where you're supposed to cut. The thing that I don't really love about this tool is that it leaves like an indent, like I said. So if you really press into the tubing with this tool, it'll give you like a slight indentation when you connect your tubing together. I personally don't really mind it being there because it gives me clean connections, but if you're super picky about your clean connections and you want a smooth, flat surface, maybe don't use it. It does add a little bit of time, a little extra time that you need to put into cutting your tubes, but I truly feel like it has saved me a lot of time because I don't need to go in and sand the hoop so that it's level. Speaking of sanding, another unconventional tool that I use is this sandpaper. So it's literally just a piece of sandpaper, but I just taped it to a flat piece of wood so that I can get a better angle when I'm sanding down the end of my tubing. This is another one that I have. It's literally just a paint stirrer that you can buy at your local hardware store. And I just taped it around the paint stirrer so that I can use it as like a nail filer. I feel like it just gives you a little bit more control so that you can really be precise with your sanding when you're trying to get that nice clean level for a clean connection. You can use regular sandpaper too, just using it with your hands, but I truly feel like this has made such a difference because you can get the right angles that you need. This is an attachment that I use on my drill if I use tubing that's really tight in between. If for some reason I can't get my connectors inside of my hoop, I just connect this to my drill and put it inside of the tubing, and it scores the inside of the hoop so that it makes it wider. This just helps the connection go through the tubing so much easier. So you're not forcing the connector inside of the tubing. This is also gonna be really helpful for people who are opening and closing the hula hoop. Is if the tubing is way too tight, it's gonna be impossible for people to disconnect their hoops. Just make sure that you're using the right connector because this one is a wider one. You use it for 3/4 tubing. I don't know where my other one went, but they also make one for 5/8 tubing. So just make sure that you're using the right attachment or else it's just not gonna work. Another tool that I use is this jewelry hammer. This is for emergencies only. So sometimes when you use a rivet, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, a rivet is this piece right here. This connects your connectors into your tubing so they don't move. Sometimes when you use your rivet gun, it will break in a way where there's a little tiny piece that's still sticking out of the rivet. What I like to do is literally use this hammer and hammer down on that rivet until it's nice and smooth. It truly is not ideal, but in a worst case scenario, if you don't use this to just hammer it down, you're gonna have to cut off that entire piece of the tubing. No way for you to remove the rivet once you use the gun to fasten it in. So this is a really good way to just keep yourself from actually cutting the tubing, because when you do that, you might make the hoop a little bit smaller than it needs to be. This is a really great way to just work around that and hammer it down so that it's nice and smooth. And last but not least, I use this. This is a paint dryer. If you are taping a hula hoop, I like to use this to just seal the tape around the hula hoop. It's super hot though, so you don't want to use the paint dryer for a long time or use it super close to your hula hoop because it can actually warp the tubing. But I truly swear by this. I always use this whenever I tape my hula hoops, and my tape is always so nice and clean every single time. But those are just some unconventional tools that I use when I make hula hoops.